In the vibrant village of Osu, where the sun paints the earth in shades of burnt orange, lived a woman named Adjoa. Adjoa was a woman of quiet strength, with hands calloused from tilling her late husband's cocoa farm, and a heart that remained anchored to a memory. Her husband, Kwame, had been gone for 3 years, yet every evening as the crickets began their rhythmic chant, Adjoa did something the villagers found peculiar. She would wash her hands, put on her finest kente print edge wrap, and set 2 plates on a small wooden table. One plate was for her, and the other, laden with the steam of fresh fufu and light soup, was for Kwame. She has lost her mind to the wind, the market women would whisper as Adjoa walked by. A beautiful woman, wasting her youth, feeding a ghost. The men would chuckle, shaking their heads. Adjoa ignored them. To her, the ritual wasn't about madness. It was about a promise. But one rainy Tuesday, as the mist clung to the trees, a knock came at her door. Standing there was a man drenched to the bone, his hair silver like the moonlight, carrying a staff carved from dark wood. "I have traveled a long way, daughter," the man said, his voice sounding like the rustle of dry leaves. "May I sit at your second plate?" Adjoa didn't hesitate. She pulled out the chair no one had touched in 3 years. As the man sat, a strange peace filled the room. However, when her neighbor, Efua, peered through the window to deliver some corn, she shrieked, "Adjoa, who are you talking to? Why is the fufu disappearing into thin air?" To Efua's eyes, the chair was empty. The spoon was lifting by itself. The traveler looked at Adjoa and smiled. "Only those who have walked through the valley of deep grief can see the bridge I walk upon." The news of Adjoa's invisible demon spread like wildfire. This was the opportunity her brother-in-law, Kojo, had been waiting for. Kojo was a man whose greed was larger than his stomach. He wanted Adjoa's land to build a modern warehouse, but the customary laws protected a widow unless she was proven to be of unsound mind. Kojo arrived the next morning, flanked by the village scribe and 2 stern-faced elders. "Adjoa," Kojo bellowed, stepping into her pristine parlor. "The village is talking. You are hosting ghosts. You are a danger to yourself. As the head of the family, I am taking over the management of this estate for your own protection." Adjoa stood tall. "The land is mine, Kojo. Kwame left it to me." "Show me the deed then," Kojo sneered. "The original was lost in the Great Fire. Without it, the land reverts to the male kin. You are moving to the back hut tomorrow." The elders gathered. Adjoa felt the walls closing in. She looked to the corner of the room, and there stood the silver-haired traveler, leaning on his staff. No one else noticed him. "He's lying," the traveler whispered to Adjoa. The fire did not take the truth, it only hid it. The traveler walked toward the heavy mahogany dining table, the one where Adjoa set the plates every night. He tapped a specific spot on the thick, hand-carved leg of the table. "Kojo," Adjoa said, her voice ringing with a sudden, divine authority. "You say I am mad because I serve a guest you cannot see, but it is your greed that has made you blind." She reached under the table, pressing a hidden latch the traveler had pointed out. A small, wooden cylinder slid out from the hollowed leg. Inside was a parchment, untouched by smoke or time. It was the original deed, signed by the High Chief, explicitly granting the land to Adjoa and her future children. The scribe examined the seal. "It is authentic," he whispered. The elders turned their gaze toward Kojo, their faces hardening. "You tried to rob a widow in her mourning," the elders said. "By the laws of our ancestors, you are banished from this land until you can prove you have a heart of flesh and not of stone." Kojo fled the house, his pride shattered. As the sun began to set, the traveler stood by the door. "Why did you help me?" Adjoa asked. "You feared the memory of love when the world told you to forget," the man replied. "Faithfulness is a light that eventually calls the truth home." He stepped out into the evening mist and vanished. That night, Adjoa sat at her table. For the first time in 3 years, she set only 1 plate. She wasn't lonely. She was finally at peace. She knew that Kwame was gone, but his love had left her with everything she needed to stand on her own. True strength is often found in what the world calls weakness. faithfulness to your values, and the memories of those you love can provide a shield against the greed of others. Never let the mockery of the blind make you doubt what you can see with your heart. If you enjoyed this beautiful story, like, share, and subscribe to this channel.